Hello and welcome to part 4 of our build of the Bandai Mega Size RX-78-2 Gundam. I'm Foxx from modelmaking.guru. I forgot that bit at the start. And if you watched the last episode, you'll know what we're doing at the minute is this is a follow-on. I'm basically just pre-assembling and test-fitting all the parts, just loosely, so I can figure out the order of painting. Next question, from Miles again. What do you use to strip paint off plastic parts? Well, I've never really had to. I try not to fuck stuff up. Let's just be honest here. But I'm not perfect. I make screw-ups. Excuse me. I've never had to really strip anything off of a model I've painted and made a complete arse of it. Once or twice I've had to strip a little bit of paint off. I have stripped off, to me, a clear green off a clear part once or twice, and I used this stuff, Carson Paint Killer. It's an absolute pig to get hold of. I don't know why there's a star there. That annoys me. Is it supposed to be an apostrophe? Because there's no apostrophe in works. It worked. No, I'm a grammar Nazi. I can't help it. Carson's Paint Killer. I actually intended to get the bottle, but I got a spray can by mistake. This stuff is, as far as I know, basically just xylene in a tin. It's... Oh, my light's gone off. It's horrendously toxic. Don't inhale it. Don't drink it. Try not to get on your hands. But it strips paint off dead easily and doesn't damage. You can even spray it on clear parts and it won't strip. It won't damage the clear part or fog it over. I've never so far had to strip paint off a chromed part, or in Gundam when you get a part that's got that shiny metallic, like C3PO, the outer frame, the shell parts, or you get a Gundam that's got the special coating, not the titanium ones, but the special coating where it's all metallic. It's called mechi plating. That stuff sucks. You can't work with it. You get nub marks you can't paint over because the paint won't stick to the mechi plating. You have to strip that stuff off if you're going to paint it. I've never had to do that, and I hope I never have to. I haven't yet. I've made the Destiny Gundam once, and my next commission is Destiny Gundam, but the customer and I have been speaking about the plated part, so that's in hand. But if I can avoid it, I'll just never purchase and make a mechi plated Gundam kit. Similar kind of thing where you buy, say, a car kit and it's got the chromed bumper and it's all like chrome plating. It's horrible. It's horrible stuff. That you can strip with oven cleaner. Not every oven cleaner, but some oven cleaners you can use. But I've never had to do that. Next one from Miles. What's my next? Before I do that, what's my next part? Oh, major seam line, pain in the arsery here on the beam sabers. Beam saber handles have got two parts with a big seam line right down the damn middle. That's not going to be fun because they've also got loads of panel lines on them. It's not going to be fun at all doing that. What do I use? Next question from Miles. What do I use to clean my kits with prior to paint? I'll be honest, it's not something I really ever do. There's a lot of people who say, "Oh, you must clean all the paint, the parts before you do with them." Beam saber. See that? Seam line's going to be right down the middle and there's all the little bits of panelling there. That's going to be a right ball ache. God damn it. Yeah, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh my god, you must clean all your parts." And maybe in the old days you'd have to do that. Nowadays, I've just attached that now. I don't want to do. There we go. I'm just breaking everything now. Look, it's cool, isn't it? Older kits, some of the very old Airfix kits and stuff, the reason you would have to clean the parts is because they would contain mould release agent, which is basically the stuff they would put in the mould so that the sprue they make in the mould doesn't stick to the mould. It's not really an issue nowadays. Most manufacturers are pretty good about not having stuff left over. If you make a resin kit, you absolutely want to wash the parts, because a lot of resin kits are garage kits. They're made by some bloke in his garage, not literally, but sometimes they are. And they will have mold release agent on them. And all you do is simple washing up liquid, or dish soap as the Americans call it. Washing up liquid. Get a little bit of warm water, not hot, just warm. A little bit of washing up liquid in a bowl, some warm water, a toothbrush. Give them a little bit of a gentle scrub, and then put them in some clean water to soak. Then lay them on a towel to dry out. If it's a resin kit, use a very soft toothbrush because you don't want to actually scratch the resin parts. But yeah, washing up liquid. I've done it occasionally. I always do it on resin kits. I don't make that many of them. And I do very occasionally use on plastic kit, but 99% of the time, I'm far too lazy. Kits nowadays, you don't need to worry about that. I've actually never had paint come off a kit ever. So I've got a model World War II Willys Jeep Tamiya kit that I made when I was 14. So that's 30 years ago now. Jesus, 30 years ago. Let me just say that again, 30 years ago. That was painted by brush with Tamiya acrylic paints onto bare plastic, not washed. Made the kit, painted it, bang. The paint is still on it. It's perfect. It's been there for 30 years, and it's perfect. So yeah, modern kits, you don't need to worry about it really. Well, now's the next questions. Right, I have to read this in a pirate voice because he's done it in a pirate way. From Matthew. Treasure for ye if you can answer me these questions 3. I've got to read this actually, it's quite funny. There's, are ye a wizard? Doctor Who? Breast, rump or leg? How upset would ye be if somebody left a cake out in the rain? What do ye like doing in your spare time aside from model making? And then he says, pirates don't count so well. I've also buried the treasure and forgotten where. I like that. That's brilliant. And I kind of sound like the guy from Time Team. Tony, I found this stratification with these Roman ruins underneath, which prove that the Romans had electrical power cables. Yeah. What was his name? Oh, not Mick. I've forgotten his name. Bloke from Time Team had the sweaty hat. Great. I used to love Time Team. Time Team was brilliant. Time Team was the best thing ever. I'm 44 and I still regularly have the urge to go and dig a hole in my back garden to see what I can find. And I know what I'll find. I'll find a load of old Matchbox cars I buried when I was about 10. And I'll find a Neolithic electrical cable and a Neolithic dead cat that used to be my pet. So, and some rabbits and hamsters. I used to love Time Team. I'm generating my own questions now. If you're in America and you don't know what Time Team is, just try and go online and find episodes of Time Team. Basically, these guys I need to focus on this. I'm not doing it. It was a team of guys it was an archaeology program. And archaeology in the States has always been a bit different to in the UK, or it was. But basically what they do is they'd have 3 days to go and find evidence for a supposed thing. So they might say, we think there's a Roman ruin in this field, or we found some coins, we want to see what was there. We've got 3 days to find out. And they basically have a team of archaeologists, and they go and they do all the digging in archaeology. All properly, they're all, apart from Tony who hosted it, they're all qualified archaeologists. And they dig up and discover Roman ruins and Anglo-Saxon ruins and all kinds of good things. And they found a Spitfire once and other things. I used to love it. It was great. It was always an hour long. It was always like, we've got 3 days to dig up these ruins and get a story and find out what happened. They always managed to do it. Well, most of the time. Right, I'm losing my thread now. I need to know what the hell I'm doing. Right, so I need G4, PC6. I need G4. Right, so anyway, back to the pirate questions. Arrgh. I tell you, if you ask me questions in the style of a pirate, they're definitely getting read. You can just guarantee that. Right, G2. I need 2 of these. Oh, it's these things again. So what was the first question? Are ye a wizard? Nope, I just walk that way. But then I have to say, that wizard came from the moon. I can't think of another humorous answer to that. Doctor Who? Yes. Breast, rump or leg? I'll take whatever I can get, to be honest. Interpret that as you will. How upset would I be if they left a cake out in the rain? Depends on the cake. If it's a chocolate cake, not that bothered. Like I said in the last video, not a big fan of chocolate cake. Not really a big fan of sponge in cakes, unless it's really, really moist and it's laced with fudge or lemon, in which case I will eat it in a second. I need more polycaps. Where's my polycaps? My other polycaps. Yeah, if it's chocolate cake, But then again, part of me says, yeah, but it's food, and food can't be left out, not be eaten. So the part of my brain that says it's food and should be eaten would be screaming in pain because it's food I can't eat. What do I do in my spare time aside from model making? I kind of answered that with the other one, really. Apart from the drawing the comic strip bit, because I don't do that. I've not done it in about 5 years. What do I do in my spare time? I like to play video games. I got my first video game console in 2001 when the first Xbox was released, and I thought that thing was the shit, basically. I'd never really been into video games before then. Got an Xbox, the original Xbox, and got Halo, and I was completely smitten at that point. And for many, many years, Halo was my gig. Halo was the thing. And it got to the point where I needed H2, which I don't know where that is, H2. Oh, I see, it's like the leg. Okay. Except that's H9, not H2, you idiot. Where's H? That's not. Is that H? H2. I need H2 number. Oh, it is number 9. I went from the point where none of my friends really play video games, and then I kind of foisted the Xbox on them and said, "You have to play this game." And within about 6 months, a number of my friends had bought Xboxes who never really played games. They all had copies of Halo, and for many years, a little group of us would religiously get together several times a week, collect a couple of Xboxes together, take our Xboxes round. That's a bit nasty, that corner. And have a good old-fashioned Halo LAN party with pizza and beers and stuff. And for the years, that was just the best thing in the world. That was our gig, man. That's going to be hidden, so I don't need to worry about sanding that. This I do need. Do I need to sand this? I'll sand it anyway. And that got me onto video games. Over the years, I kind of grew away from Halo. For many years, I'd be playing a game and it'd be like, I like first-person shooters, but it's not Halo. So, in the original Xbox generation, my gig was Halo and Medal of Honor Frontline. My two favourite games. And the thing is, going back and playing Halo now is fine. Going back and playing Medal of Honor Frontline, that's harsh, man. No iron sights. But it is one of the best video game soundtracks. They did a limited release of it on CD, and I was lucky enough to get a copy of it from eBay not long after it came out. And I think for the past 3 months that's been on my car stereo. And to answer another question that nobody asked, there are typically 3 CDs on rotation in my car. I haven't got a multi-disc, I've just got one disc I put in and take out, so I can play one disc at a time. It's invariably the soundtrack from Stargate the movie by David Arnold, which is fantastic. The soundtrack to Medal of Honor Frontline by Michael Giacchino, which I shouldn't have sanded that bit off, which is also fantastic. Or ELO's album Out of the Blue. Or, if it's a really sunny day and I can have all the windows open, Jean-Michel Jarre, Magnetic Fields. Dead loud. Magnetic Fields Part 1, the first bit, dead loud, kick ass. That'll do. What else do I do? Yeah, so video games. Went off first-person shooters after a while. What time are we on, by the way? We're on 18 minutes. Went off first-person shooters after a while. Discovered Fallout 3, and that lured me into the world of open-world games. And never looked back since. I played Fallout 3. I've got about 1,500 hours in Fallout 3. About 600 hours in Fallout New Vegas, which I didn't like as much. And about, I don't know, 700 or 800 hours in Skyrim, maybe. Which I thought was brilliant. And now I'm just patiently waiting for Fallout 4, which comes out in a few weeks. Is it Fallout 4 time yet? So yeah, play video games. Obviously, a lot of my time is taken up with not just this, but I do the Guru website and other stuff as well. So a lot of time is taken up with either work, or this work. So I don't have a lot of free time. What else do I do? I love binge watching. I love marathon watching things. When Lost first came out, I watched the pilot episode when it was first aired in the UK. I watched it and thought, oh, it looks interesting. Then as the episode came to a close, I thought, oh wait, it's just going to be a dinosaur in the forest. I'm not interested now. Forgot all about it. a few years later, my friend lent me season 1 on disc, and within a couple of days I watched all of that, and I had to then go and watch every other season, binge. This is after Lost had finished. I then had to go and watch every other season in one big massive chunk, so I disappeared off the radar for about 3 weeks while I watched every episode of Lost, and that was my first binge watching session. After I'd done that, I thought, I like this binge watching, sitting there and watching a whole TV series over the course of a few days, because everything follows. You don't have to wait a week to find out what happens. You know, you can grow to love the characters. So after that, I thought, what can I watch next? I suddenly found Channel 4 had the entire run of Hill Street Blues on their website, on 4 on demand, so I watched all of that, and that was a complete flashback to my youth. This is going... Where is this going? Yeah, is this going? Oh, it's going that way. Nubs, holes. So I watched all that. Then I'd finished that, and I was like, now I'm going to watch. Then I sort of went... I'd watched all these anyway, so I then watched all Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and finished watching Enterprise. I did all those. I watched... binge watched... What did I watch? Bones, Castle, I'm up to date on. What did I watch? Quite a few crime series I started to watch. But basically, House. I watched all of House twice. I know. I watched all 10 seasons and then kind of watched them all again. So where was I? Right. So yes, I've watched all of House. What else have I watched? Game of Thrones. I've watched loads of other things. I was going to say Sent Elsewhere, but I got a few episodes in and realised, yeah, I didn't want to watch that. New Tricks, worked my way through that. Cold, no, not Silent Witness, the good one. The one with the bloke from Shoestring in it, I can't remember. Right, so that goes on there loosely. I need another one. Where's the other sprue for this? Where is my other sprue? Oh, there it is. Goes on there. And then recently, I discovered some delightful soul had uploaded basically every episode of The Bill from 1983 to when it finished in 2009. Now, if you don't know The Bill, if you're either too young or you live outside the UK, The Bill was like I suppose Americans would call it a cop show. It's basically a series about a fictional police station in England called Sun Hill. And it was great. It used to be half an hour, then it was an hour, then it went on to different times, and it varied over the years. Well, basically, there's like about 4,000 episodes over the 29 years or whatever it was that it ran. So, yeah, I'm working my way through, and I've so far in the last 6 months or so, I've got to started in 1983 with Wooden Top, the original pilot. And now I'm on to 2004, I think. 2004. Basically, it's the Don Beach era. So, yeah, beaches around. Dirty Don Beach. Am I doing this right? Probably not. So, yeah, so I'm going through that at the moment and absolutely adoring all of it. Because the Bill's great, man. I used to love the Bill when I was younger. So this needs to go in... Which way? That way. That way, you see? Oh, I haven't put a polycap in there. Stupid boy. I need 2 PC1s. There's no PC1s on there. Here are all the PC1s. Yeah, so if you ever see me and Tony putting comments on each other's videos, and I'm saying things like 595 from Sierra Oscar receiving, it's the Bill. They're the Bill quotes. They're all on Dailymotion. Go and have a look. It's just the best series ever. Reg Hollis for the win. That's the right way around. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, tightness. Right, where were we on questions? Tony Fairclough, my old friend. Why do hot dogs come in jars of 5, but the buns come in packs of 6? It's a conspiracy by the government. It's the man imposing his will and giving you a sense of... Where does this part go? Giving you a sense of confusion and disorientation in today's society, so that when the hammer falls, you'll be confused and disoriented and will happily accept leadership from any source. And I know this because I have listened to UVB 576, the number station, and it tells me these things. And I've also had it confirmed by the man from the CIA that lives in my radiator, who has also confirmed these things. So now you know. It's just one of life's many little mysteries that that they put there to give that state of confusion for when the hammer falls. Yeah. I ever get the impression I'm a subscriber to AboveTopSecret.com? Actually, that... Brilliant. Thanks, Mum. I've been going to Above Top Secret. This is on a different tack, and again, a question nobody's actually asked. I've been visiting AboveTopSecret.com for years. Which way is this going now? Do it on camera. It's like a conspiracy... That's not right. Have I done this the wrong way or the right way? I don't know which way I'm doing this now. This is going this way. Yeah, das ist richtig. Effectively, it's a conspiracy theory type discussion website. It's been around for years. But it's a bit crap now because all it seems to be now is just people posting religious nonsense and all that kind of stuff. Squishy? Yes. 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 Squish. Squish. Hope that everything's in right and nothing goes wrong. But it used to be a good place to go for conspiracy theories and, you know, some not conspiracy theory stuff. People posting scientific information. And this isn't working. Why is this not working? What has gone wrong here now? We're fine here now, thank you. We're all fine. How are you? Boring conversation anyway. I'm going to have to cut this off and do some damage limitation. I've forgotten what I was talking about now. I don't know. It's logically you'd say it's because they're designed for different things. But illogically I would refer you to my first answer, which is much more interesting and highly much more plausible in my mind and in the mind of the guy that lives in the radiator who says he's from the CIA. If you could... Oh, why did the chicken cross the road? Because the reasons. Because of all the reasons. I'm doing this again. I'm putting these together. Oh no, I can't. Can I? Have I? Yes, this is correct. They can go together properly because I've got to build these anyway. Mutter, 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 mutter. Why aren't these going together? Right, let's figure this out with my enormous brain that's stuck these parts together and I can't get apart. You know what? Let's just get these off the sprue, shall we? No, let's not do that. What's his next question? If you could have superpowers, what would they be? I don't know. Most superpowers are pretty lame when you actually get down to brass tacks. What have I done? Quick pause while I rectify this situation. Sorry about that. I'd missed a polycap out. So, dope. Oh, I need to reset my timer. No, not now. Because I paused and everything. Hang on. I'll set my timer to, say, 16 minuten. Quickly sand these. This episode is also going to overrun. I think this is going to be a 3-episode gig. I don't know if you really want 3 episodes of me waffling like this and putting stuff together. Superpowers. I would like to have the power to... I don't know. Generate ridiculously enormous sums of cash. That's a bit obvious and simple. Bend people to my will. Nah, you see, I'm too much of a good guy. I do something for good. I wouldn't do it for evil. Because I'm a sap like that. I wish I could have a superpower that was it was basically the knowledge and skills of every either composer who ever lived, or artist, or maybe model maker, or musical performer, so that I could do one thing perfectly and without flaw, and like a genius. That'd be good. Right, next thing. What was the next question? I'm going to run out of questions here soon. Why was 6 scared of 7? I'll let you think about that one for a second. Why was 6... I know the answer. Well, I know an answer. Why was 6 scared of 7? Because 7 ate 9. Ta-da! I'm brilliant. I know everything. I've heard that one before. B4 and B8. B4... God, that film was shit. Star Trek Insurrection. Is that the one with B4 in it? Do you know, I used to be such a big Star Trek nerd in my great youth of many years ago. Was never that keen on the original series, because by the time I got to watch it, it was too dated, and I was like, that's cheesy. I mean, obviously, one of my favourite film of all time is The Wrath of Khan, and I won't hear anybody say anything bad about that film, because there isn't anything bad about that film, and if you think there's something bad about that film, you clearly need help. But yeah, I used to love Star Trek, so I watched Next Gen and stuff and all the goodness. But when they started making the Next Gen movies, I was over the moon. I was like, wow, this is brilliant. They finished Next Gen, and I liked it. And now they're making movies, and yeah, they weren't great. I mean, the first one, the name I forget because it was that forgettable. The one with the really bad lighting and Generations. Generations was a great idea. Terribly done, and with the world's worst lighting. I mean, really? I mean, go and look at the scene where, Malcolm McDowell's standing there talking to Picard, Saren. Ow, stab. Injury. Dun, 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 dun. Ow. That's not that bad. Soren, that's it, Soren. Yeah, Soren stood there and he's saying to him, time is the fire in which we burn. It's my best Malcolm McDowell impression. And look at the lighting in that scene. It's like they've got like 3 light bulbs on the whole ship. I mean, really? Wow. Terrible, man. That put me off that film. Great idea, badly done. The whole rocket thing. Yeah, because we use rockets in the 25th century and we've got warp-capable ships. I don't know. Terrible, terrible. Good soundtrack, though. Yeah, that was kind of pants. Then First Contact, which was actually really good. I really enjoyed First Contact. It was a good film. Should put Jonathan Frakes in charge of directing films much more often. Now, mental note, Fox, do this loosely and not tightly. Which way does this go now? This goes in the direction, and that direction would be thusly. What was after First Contact? First Contact. God, I'm just be so into Star Trek and now I'm blanking. First Contact, which was good. Then there was the next one, which was... Oh, I've actually forgotten. Was that Insurrection, the next one? Insurrection, where Worf had a pimple. I mean, really? Jesus. And they had a dune buggy that just looked like a dune buggy with some sci-fi greeble stuck on it. And yeah, they really kind of scraped the barrel on that one. And then there was the... Was that the one with the... Yeah, I'm losing the thread now. But I used to love Star Trek. I don't even know why I started on Star Trek. Why did I even ask this question? I can't remember. No, I think I'm actually out of questions. Let me just check the Facebook page and see if there are any new questions. I don't think there are. In which case, I'll just make up some stuff about myself. I don't mean make it up. I'll obviously tell the truth because I'm not a liar. Dude, I'm not a liar. My iPad, of course, is an iPad 2. It's being slow. Where are we up to? The face. I'm doing the face. A3. Now, I've kind of run out of questions now. And the last few questions, my answers have been a bit boring. It's late at night and I'm kind of tired now, so... I'm not sure what to do. I could just speed this bit up. What's that bit? I could just speed this bit up for you now, but I want to show you making the face. So I'm going to show you making the face. Because the face is the best bit. A3, polycarbonate 3, PC3. I've got to try and think of something to talk about now. God damn it. Subjects. I don't know. What shall I talk about? God, I can normally never shut up, and now I just can't think of anything to talk about. I'll talk about this big ass seam line right down the middle of the head. God damn it. Excuse me. One thing I hate doing is filling seam lines in. It's such a chore. But needs must. Where's the? It's a good advert for the nubs on this kit that I'm actually struggling to remember where the hell they were. And if I can't remember, I'm struggling to find them. Can't think of anything to talk about now. Man, I can't just sit here in silence. Somebody tell me something to talk about. Oh wait, that's not how these YouTube videos work. Got some big nubs on there. I can't wait to get the head together. I like Gundam heads, and the fact this one is massive. In a way, it'll just make me sad that my perfect grade head won't even be this big. My perfect grade strike rouge. Rouge? Rouge, even. Excuse me. Now remember, Fox, you're not putting these together permanently, you're putting them together loosely. Loosely. Oh, it's the camera, the rear camera. That goes in there like that. Do you see that goes in there like that? This goes in here like this, you see? Again, I can't not really jam that in. Then this piece has... I really don't know what to talk about now. I can't really talk about what I'm doing because there's nothing to talk about. So, oh, I know what I can talk about. If you haven't watched it already, if you've got access to BBC iPlayer, or if it's somehow available on BBC US, if you're in the US of A or somewhere else in the world, if you can get it, check out the new DangerMouse, the rebooted DangerMouse. It is awesome. It is so funny. I don't like the voice of Baron Greenback. I don't like the fact he's now Baron Silas von Greenback and he's suddenly got this German accent. It's like, where did this come from? I love Alexander Armstrong, I think it is, playing DangerMouse. He does it so well. The voice is perfect. It's near enough to Davy Jason, but it's really good. The humour is fantastic. I mean, there's so many references that kids won't get. There was a reference to Max Headroom. A very prominent reference to Max Headroom. And I know most of you out there are sitting there going, the hell is Max Headroom? Well, yeah, exactly. And yet they're making reference to it on a kids' cartoon series in 2015. Dude, seriously? Oh, they're the Vulcan cannons. I can't decide how to paint the... I know they're supposed to be yellow, but it's supposed to be a big Gatling gun. It doesn't seem right that it's yellow and not actual metallic colours. But we'll have a think about that. Want to now have you put the faith together? Yeah, it's really good. Put it this way, in one episode, DangerMouse is on top of a Japanese bullet train in Tokyo, fighting karate and kung fu with a toilet. You just have to see it. Another episode where DangerMouse's one and only fear is revealed, that he's afraid of spiders. And it's just the way he sort of, it's just, I can't explain it. It's just really good. It's actually, I mean, the animation is a delight. The animation itself and the artwork, the style of it, is an absolute delight. Considering it's a British animation company, and we're usually, I'll be honest, our cartoons are usually shit. And yet this It's beautifully drawn. That's going to be really tight now. I'm not going to get that out again. Beautifully drawn and just wonderful. So yeah, if you're in the UK, go on BBC iPlayer and just watch all the. They're only like 10 minutes long. Go and watch all the episodes up there now. They're great. If you're not, you might get it through BBC America if you're in the US. Other than that, I don't know how you're going to do it. You'll find it online somewhere eventually. Oh, there was one question I got asked and I forgot to answer it. Somebody asked me about my favourite books. Again, it's one of these. It was one of those kind of like, what's your favourite colour type questions, but I don't mind that. I can't find the nubs. That's a good thing. Sorry, favourite comic books, I should say. Because he said, I can't remember who wrote it now, and I've not got my iPad open. He said basically, you drew a comic strip. Did you really love comics and comic books? I was never really into comics. I never really got into comics, really. I read comics as a kid, but I was never really truly into them. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. This is going to be epically awesome. I can't wait to make this thing, to paint this thing. So I was never really into comic books. Just didn't do anything for me. Where was I? Yes, I was never really into comic books. But I did read some here and there. And if I was going to look at that. Look at that. If I was going to make some recommendations, comics, I would say, I've not really got any recommendations, didn't really read them. Graphic novels, well, different kettle of fish. There's a small number of graphic novels I would recommend that you must read before you die. What parts do I need? A7. Okay, this is the front cameras. You must read, and I'm going to get it wrong here because I always get it wrong. Sam and Max Surfing the Highway. Sam and Max are just absolutely brilliant. It is the funniest shit you will read. Trust me on that. Sam and Max. If you don't know who Sam and Max are, there's been a few games as well. But they started off as the guy who drew them, whose name actually escapes me and it's really bad that I can't remember. Used to work for Industrial Light and Magic, LucasArts, making games. And he used to draw Sam and Max strips as little sort of regular strips, and then collected them all into an anthology called Sam and Max Surfing the Highway. There was a game called Sam and Max Hit the Road. Sam and Max, basically, Sam is a dog. He's a kind of dopey detective. They call themselves freelance police. It's kind of really bizarre. And Max, and he wears like a blue suit and a tie and a really sort of funky little hat. Max is described as a hyperkinetic rabbity thing, and he's just a psycho basically. And they just go on crazy adventures. Like they have to go to the moon to stop a revolt by giant cockroaches. Kind of hard to explain. Anyway, the humour is brilliant in those books. The humour is absolutely fantastic in that book. Do yourself a favour, go and find a copy on Amazon somewhere, if it's still in print anymore. Sam and Max Surfing the Highway, or Highway Surfing, or Surfing the Highway. I've forgotten that. It's been years since I read it. You'll thank me. Trust me on that. And I think Sam and Max are the only impressions I can actually do. And not very well. But from the game, I always remember the lines Max saying, and I'm going to get this wrong and it'll sound terrible. Hey, do you mind if I drive for a bit, Sam? And Sam says, not if you don't mind me clawing at the dash and screaming like a cheerleader. Yeah, it sounded better in my head, trust me on that. And that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard, Sam. Kind of have to imagine it a bit higher pitch. But the voices for Sam and Max in the game, in the original LucasArts point and click Sam and Max Hit the Road, they're kind of the voices I then assigned for Sam and Max from then on. So when the later games came out, it didn't work. And when the animated series, because there was an animated series by Nelvana that only ran for about one season. It was alright, it was pretty good. The voices weren't quite right. In fact, yeah, go and find the animated series on TV. It's not the graphic novel. The book is more adult than the comic, but the cartoon's quite faithful. Right, this is going. Oh God. There's some convoluted way of drawing this that doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see. This is the white bit that goes behind the eyes, so I might actually just leave that because I can get that apart easily. The white goes behind the yellow of the cameras, so it makes them a bit more brighter when they go in. Ah, this is awesome. Oh, look at that. That is just gorgeous. That is just fantastic. That is just the best thing ever. Yeah, so Sam and Max, Surfing the Highway, highway surfing, whatever it's called. Go and find it. It's the funniest thing you'll ever read in your entire life, and you'll thank me for the rest of your life. Another must-read, put on your bucket list of reading. If you've never read them, and it's serious ones, but 2 graphic novels by Art Spiegelman, Mouse and Mouse 2. And I don't know if I can get this in properly. Mouse and Mouse 2. Mouse is probably the best... Oh, this isn't going in. The best graphic novel you'll ever read in your entire life. It's autobiographical. It's a 2-part story. It's a story of Art Spiegelman and how he related to his father before his father died. So part of it is set in what at the time was the present day. Him relating to his father, who was kind of cantankerous and, you know... but it's also... He learns to sort of mend the bridge the gaps with his father by getting his father to recount his tales from World War II. His father was his father was interred, get my words out, at Auschwitz. So it follows half the book follows Spiegelman's journey with his father in his last few years, and half of the book follows his father's story from before the war till after the war. He obviously survived Auschwitz. It is an incredible 2 books. All the characters are animals. Jews are mice, Nazis are cats, Germans are cats, Americans are dogs. It's the simplest little tiny black and white drawings, really scratchy little black and white drawings, but the artwork is almost irrelevant because it's the story they tell. Go and read Mouse, and go and read Mouse 2. Look at that. My God. Now I have actually got a cheat going on here because I've already built the V-fin earlier. Dude, we totally have. Oh, camera's gone everywhere. Sorry about that, dude. We totally have. Get close for that for you. RX-78-2's head. How cool is that? That's the best thing ever. It's the biggest Gundam head I've ever made. Now the problem is, of course, as I say, this big seam line. That's going to give me a challenge. I'm obviously going to have to paint all these parts separately, but that seam line there, that's going to give me some shit, that is. I don't know. Because this bit, sometimes on Gundams this bit is higher, so it looks like a natural panel line. On this, no, it's not. I don't know. I mean, I might get away with it as a panel line here. Like this is the front and the back half of this kind of scoop. I'm going to have to do something here. I'm going to have to do something there. And that's going to be anabolic. Because that's such a little... This bit here, it's V-fin off, so it's not shadowing everywhere. I say take it off, I mean, there you go. This little panel here is nice and crisp. If I start sanding that down, it's going to be less crisp. I might just have to maybe fill this bit and not do that bit. I don't know, I've got to figure that out, and that's part of what we're here for today, is to figure out all the ball achy bits. Okay, right, all the rough test building is now complete, pretty much. It's time to go to the wibbly wobbly handheld camera, I'm afraid, to show you this next bit. Let's show you the finished thing. Now remember, this is just loosely put together, so I can see how the parts go together, what order I can paint them in, what order I'll have to do masking and seam filling. So let me just pan up and I'll show you the goodness. I'm having to pull back so far. Christ almighty. Look at the size of that. That is massive. That is RX-78-2, the Granddaddy Gundam, mega size. It's big chicken. It's going to be absolute joy to paint. He looks a bit wonky because he's only loosely put together. And again, apologies for the wibbly wobbly cam. I'm doing handheld to get him all in. The head is a beautiful sculpt. I love that. That is brilliant. I like the glow behind the eyes, just purely with white plastic behind the clear. And there's, I don't know if you can see it, if I can get that close, move the light a bit. There is a slight texture on the clear glass for the eyes. Lovely. Lots of detail on this kit. Let me just move the light back again. Lots of detail on this kit for such a simple kit. You see there the beam rifles all loosely put together. Massive shield. I've had a quick go with the posability. It's not the most posable thing in the world, but I don't play with them. I make them and paint them. The feet aren't together, obviously. That, my friends, is the project for today. Or for the next, well, I've got my commission on. I've got the Destiny to make soon, so... Alright, I've started that now anyway, so that's the priority. But this, in my spare time and at my weekends, this is what it's doing. So I'll just find something for scale. Hang on, let me find something to put next to him. I mean, you can tell by everything else, but let me just find something obvious for scale. Too old for toys use Coke cans. Other people use Coke bottles. I'll use a standard size cigarette lighter. That's how big this thing is. This is going to be fun. Thank you for watching the last few episodes. I appreciate they may have been tedious, a little bit boring, but I had to do something to fill the time while I was test building this, and I wanted to show it to you anyway, the testing process. Now the real work begins, the scene filling and the painting. Scene filling is going to be a real challenge. But we'll see how it goes. But thank you for watching these last 3 videos. Stay tuned for the next lot, as and when. I've been able to cram these in the last day or two, so it might be a little while before the next one. But stay tuned when we actually start building this thing. Adios, amoebas.